This is 40K Today. We're like the Primaris Lieutenant of 40K podcasts. There's a new one every day.
Welcome to 40K Today. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes or so covering what's going on all over the world in our hobby in the wonderful world of Warhammer 40,000. Today is Thursday, June 25th, and I'm Paul Murphy. We have a poll question up on our Facebook right now asking what type of army do you think will dominate in 9th edition? Is it going to be Assault? Is it going to be Shooty? So far, Assault is winning. Can it really be true? Get on over and have your voice heard. Our first feature today has our very own John Damaris sitting down with Eric Festa. Eric creates wonderful 4-step tutorials on Instagram and Twitter. Let's hear what he has to say.
All right, 40K Today listeners, you guys are in for a treat. I'm joined today by the one and only Eric Festa, who I have known, I think, for roughly 10 years, somewhere in that range. Is that about right?
I think so, yeah. It's we met at, I think it was it TempleCon? I think it was?
TempleCon, yeah. We hung out, we had a good time, and
Yeah.
and I remember you had this like crazy full metal stuff, right? Like metal tokens, is that right?
Yeah. My father actually is a tool and die maker. He's retired now, but at the time he had cut Kador symbols for War Machine out of surgical steel. So they were very for the motherland, if you will.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. So the reason why we're having you on the show is you're doing something really cool for the community. You're doing these 4-part paint tutorials. Do you want to tell everybody how you got started with that and where the idea came from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I watch a lot of painting tutorials on YouTube, and it's just such a great resource that wasn't around, when I started painting originally about 20 years ago. But everything kind of started with COVID-19 outbreak, unfortunately. So people with this disease and the changes in lifestyle and the isolating and all that stuff kind of force everybody to stay inside and start painting a little bit more. So to kind of lighten the anxiety, I decided that I wanted to put out some simple paint tutorials that people could try in their home and kind of learn some new techniques.
That's amazing. So basically what you do, it kind of reminds me of the old heavy metal articles, I think, where they would like show you a panel and then another panel, and then another panel and then a fourth panel, each with a different step of the process of sort of achieving this effect, whatever it is, Like I think recently I saw you did one on Necron Warriors, I think it was, that looked pretty sweet, or it was a Necron of some sort anyway.
Yeah, it was a Carapace tutorial. I'm working on a Necron army right now for 9th edition, with all the sweet models coming out. But my Necrons are a little bit banged up, beat up. Some people kind of take offense to that because they're healing metal, but I think it just looks cool. So I did a little tutorial on how to get some chipping effects.
Cool. So like, what is the process for that? Is that difficult because basically you're breaking something down into 4 steps? Is that difficult for you, or like, what's your process for that, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, sure. Well, so my painting philosophy has always been simple but good, I guess, if you want to, kind of sum it up. Essentially, I always look for paints that coat very well in 1 to 2 passes with minimal thinning and minimal steps. So I try and make it easier, especially when you're teaching people. Fewer steps is easier. You could tell someone to do XYZ, but if you need to do like 30 layers of a glaze, that just doesn't really appeal to most people. Some people it does, but most people it does not. So
yeah, because I think there's a small group of people that is trying to express their art as a part of this, right? And then there's a much larger group of people that is like trying to live an experience, which is playing with these really cool painted models and these really cool toys that they sort of developed on their own. And so, yeah, you're definitely speaking to the masses that way, I think.
Well, that's my goal, is to have tutorials that the average Joe can pick up and learn something from. Like I said, I started like 20 years ago reading White Dwarfs, and I learned from watching these steps and being like, well, that shade isn't what they're saying it is, or that color isn't what they're saying it is. So my goal is really to say, hey, this is the paint I use, this is what it does, and this is the effect you can achieve with minimal steps. And then I try and put that all on a snapshot so that it can be shared, or that people can look at it quickly. And even if they don't use the exact technique, if they want to, try something or try different colors, it's simple and it's there for them.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is they can they can sort of make it their own, right? You're
Yeah.
giving them sort of a framework, and then they could mix different colors or use a different palette or slightly different palette, and still achieve a good result, but maybe not follow your exact formula, but follow it as an outline, right? And I think they're great.
Yeah.
So how many of these have you done now at this point?
So I think I'm up to 15 or 16. I think I'm on 15 maybe. I try and put out 1 or 2 a week, depending on what I'm painting. I usually will just take pictures while I'm painting. I kind of have my camera to the side. I'll pull it over and take some snapshots as I go through. Unless someone has a specific request and I get a lot of them, then I'll do that. Like the power sword technique I just put out. I had a lot of people message me after I put out the Necron glow tutorial about how to paint blue power swords of all things. So I just put a quick one together with a miniature from my wall of shame of all the unpainted miniatures I have, and just put it together quick. But I try and put out 1 or 2 a week, and I have them all collected on my Instagram account, and I also share them on my Twitter and on Facebook and many of the groups.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll definitely link those. We'll have you send us the links, and we'll put those in the show notes below so people can find you. That way they can contact you if they have a tutorial they'd like to see you do. And so they can find them all. Before we let you go, what's your favorite one that you've done?
I really like the glow effects, which you can see by the amount of tutorials I've done on the different colors. I think they're really eye-catching and easy to do with the new contrast paints. I think the Necron green glow was one of my favorites. It's so effective and it's so easy.
Very cool. You heard it here first, folks. Get that green glow on. All right, Eric. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, Colonel Festa. You make it look so simple.
Today's episode of 40K Today is brought to you by Frontline Gaming. Frontline Gaming is a one-stop shop for all your Warhammer hobby needs, discounted products, American-made gaming mats and terrain, and a full line of miniatures painting service and daily hobby content. And this can all be found at frontlinegaming.org.
Welcome back. If our poll question is any indication, we have some ideas of what people will be throwing on the table first to see what plays in 9th. But what do the numbers really have to say about it? John sits down with Peter the Falcon to get his take.
All right, 40K Today listeners, we have a special treat. I am joined by the one and only Peter the Falcon Colissimo, who I can't tell you how much I've missed, like nonstop missing this guy. No events, no stat center, makes for a very sad John. Peter, how are you?
Kaka! I'm doing great, buddy. Doing great. As good as can be given what's been going on in our crazy mixed up world.
It is a little goofy. So how excited are you on a scale from 1 to 1,723 for 9th edition are you?
Like, the heavy breathing that comes out of my body thinking about 9th edition is extreme. I absolutely am about as stoked, I think, as anybody can be about the prospect of what's coming. Just off the previews and what I've been able to learn, the little tidbits we keep getting, I think it's gonna be great, and I'm very excited because as someone that collects stats on this game, I don't like when the meta gets stale, and there's nothing that's gonna break up a meta more than a whole new brand set, like a whole set of rules to change it all up.
Right. Yeah, it's going to take a while for people to sort through it all, and there'll be a lot of exploration that goes on for
sure.
a good bit of time, right?
Yeah.
And what's amazing is everybody's got a fleshed out codex in Psychic Awakening. Now, you can argue about some might have a little more than
not really. Necrons didn't get anything, but they're getting the first codex or one of them.
Yeah, they're getting one of the first codexes.
Yeah.
So technically correct is the best kind of correct. Right.
Well, that's me. I'm about as pedantic as you can get. So
it's one of the reasons why people love you.
Aww.
So yeah, for me, like every rules change that they've previewed so far, I've been like, right on. Yep. I see what you're doing there. Mm-hmm. I see what you're going for, and I support you, GW. I don't even hate it. Yep. And I mean, I know change is hard for some people, and I think that's been pretty obvious. But
for sure, yeah, there's definitely been some outcries about some things as we've progressed. But all in all, like you said, pretty much everything they've leaked, I've been A-okay with. Especially when you take it in the grand whole. I mean, Reese, Frankie, Brad Chester, all these testers that are out there that have been on podcasts. Brian Pullen recently on Canhammer, who did an excellent interview. Like, they're all saying the same thing. For every rule that we're getting kind of like leaked, there's probably there's 5 or 6 other ones that deal directly with that we haven't seen. So we really don't even we have like a sixth of the picture. We don't really know exactly how it's all going to play out. And I'm pretty excited for it. I'm pretty excited. The new morale thing that came out today, I think it was, not as excited about that yet, but I'm told there's way more coming with it. So we'll see how that plays out. That was one where I was like, maybe we're rolling a little too many dice here, guys. Let's calm this down. But we'll
right?
see.
I will say this too, like every playtester that I've talked to who's disclosed that they're a playtester to me has said 9th edition is great.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard a single playtester be like, I liked 8th edition better. Not a single one. Not a single one. So that's exciting.
Yep.
So I see, Mr. Falcon, that you've got a pipe.
I do. Yes. Usually I don't turn on the webcam for you, John, but we haven't talked in so long. I figured you could look at my face just a little bit longer. Yeah, I've bought a bit of a costume. I think I've mentioned this last time I was on the show, maybe, or maybe on other shows, but I'm planning a new show, like in the interim while we wait for Stat Center to kick back in, Fireside with the Falcon. So I've got a pipe, I've got my captain set, my smoking jacket. I'm gonna hop onto Twitch and read 40K short stories for people, and chat lore, chat the game. Yeah, just do stuff since so many of us are still kind of locked in our houses or are a little trepidatious about walking outside right now. So
that is amazing. What Twitch channel are you going to be on for that?
It'll be the 40K Stat Center Twitch that we used for LVO, twitch.tv/40K Stat Center. And that's center spelled the proper way, RE, not ER, like you crazy folk down south.
Down south being in the USA, right?
Like, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I live in the Arctic. Literally everyone is south of me. So except for the Mob Rules guys in Alaska. They're about it. Like everybody else is below. So
that's amazing. So this actually sounds like a lot of fun. Do you have any idea when the first episode will be released? When are you kicking off?
So my hope, I have some artwork coming in for the layout, some that I've commissioned. That's supposed to come in the next couple days. So my hope is early next week, say Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to do my first recording. I'll be reading a couple of the short stories from Magos, the Dan Abnett like Eisenhorn book. It has like a collection of older short stories in it about Eisenhorn and some other major characters in the lore. So I'll probably read a couple of those, chat for a little bit, and just hang out and talk to people if they want to talk.
All right, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to tell people, if your camera's not on, clothes are optional. So...
Well, I got a green screen coming, but I do have a fireplace in my house. So if the green screen isn't here by then, I'm going to start no matter what. I'll just turn on the fireplace, even though it's, 80 or 90 degrees up here this time of year. Who cares? Make it happen. I'll sweat it out just for you guys.
You're the man. All right. Peter, thanks for joining us. And
hey, man, thanks so much for having me.
Everybody loves you. You know that.
That's not true, but like I would say there's a few people that love me.
There's at least one chubby Asian I know that's a big fan.
Peter, thank you so much. It is always a joy to hear from you. If you're a long-time listener and you know exactly what time it is, it's time for that model of the day.
It's the model of the day, the model of the day, the model of the day.
Necrons will be crawling out of their tombs in droves over the next few months, and they are the subject of our model of the day today. This ancient relic comes to us from this week's first guest, Colonel Festa. He used techniques that anyone could do, but brought them together in a spectacular way. He's achieved a wonderful glow effect perfectly balanced by the antique metallics for this eye-catching Necron Cryptek. Check out his Instagram feed for tips you can use to supercharge your hobby progress. I know I'll be borrowing a tip or two. Check it out on our Facebook and Instagram. Glowing doesn't seem easy, but it can be. If you have a model that you want us to feature on the show, or you've seen a model that we should feature, you let us know by using that hashtag 40K2Day. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. A huge thanks to our content producer, Alex Banter, our social media guru, Tanya Gates, and our technical producer, Seamus Ronan, for all the hard work putting this show together. It's a daily process, but we love doing it, bringing this information to you. Tomorrow, we're going to come back for a jam-packed Friday episode. Make sure you join us. But for right now, that's what's happening in 40K today.